Hello, hello. Welcome to Beautiful Minds podcast. My name is Jamie Taylor, and I am a licensed professional counselor. And today we have the pleasure of meeting with my homegirl and friend Kim. Kim and I go way back to what? 2007. Yes. We started our mental health journeys together in the professional sense. And so we have been coworkers to friends and colleagues. And so I am so excited to be meeting with her today. But go ahead and introduce yourself, friend.
Hi. First, Jamie, thank you so much for having me on your podcast. I was ecstatic when you called me and, asked me to do this. I was like, definitely. Okay, so as Jamie stated, my name is Kim Galloway. I have actually been in the field for now 20 years, but yes, we definitely started our mental health professionally, later mentally journey in 2007, and I'm still currently in that setting.
Absolutely, absolutely. Yes, we became friends. We know all of each other's business. But we're here to talk about a couple of specific topics, right? And so one of which is healing through storytelling, sharing experiences of resilience. So help me understand, what made that a topic that was important to you?
Well, over time, through my spiritual journey, is what I'm calling it, I just have realized a lot of things. Working in the mental health field, I've come across a lot of adults and adolescents and so many different stories. And hearing them, I went through the same thing.
Absolutely.
So you really start to relate to your clients, patients, and have all of this empathy as well as sympathy for them. So you really start to look at yourself, and later you get to self-analyzing. So all of that, the last, I would probably say 4 years, I have been on a spiritual and mental health journey to simply, and to be selfish, to simply better myself and figure out what I need to do.
Right.
So I went through this whole journey, ups and downs. I finally got this job actually in 2019, and I met a team of Black women professionals, from bachelor level all the way to doctoral status, who at that time taught me so much. They really brought out something in me that I didn't know I had. They saw it, and along with, they didn't know my story, whereas you did. You knew the whole story of what I went through. And so they really brought out the excellence in me. Went through, different stages, went through loss, but a loss in a relationship I needed to get out of. Going through that process. Not really having family support in regard to my mental health.
Got it.
Going through it by myself or, friends, right?
Right.
So I sought therapy.
Nice.
Right?
Absolutely.
I sought therapy back in 2022. I found it through my job, actually, the EAP. We finished our 8 sessions. I said, we're not done with the work. We have to keep going. So I went through that. I was able to point out my own flaws because she did no talking. I did all of the talking, which I loved. She helped me to set boundaries when I didn't think I could set them, and realize a lot of things. It may have taken me months to get it. And so when I finally admit to myself, I'll say, you wanted me to say that, didn't you? She said, yes. I said, you have been waiting on it. She said, yes.
Got it.
So I want women to know, especially Black women, to know it is okay to seek therapy.
Yes.
When I look way back where things were just at a complete low for me, I never had an issue with suicidal ideation or attempt, nothing like that. But it's just a dark, dark place. And you just don't know how you're going to get out of it.
Right.
But honestly, therapy. And consistently, it hasn't stopped, anything like that. It's been very consistent. Not once has she mentioned the transition to discharge. But she has helped me see so much, along with, let me not leave this out, along with my circle of friends, in which definitely you are part of. We celebrated my birthday, December 9th, 2022. And when I tell you I felt myself, I knew I looked good. I was like, I wish you couldn't tell me anything. It was at my favorite restaurant, and everybody was there that is in my circle. And this is a circle I talk to these people, or at least we communicate somehow every week. Right. So it's not like we go months without talking or communicating. Right. So having that circle of friends that support one another, don't talk about each other, just there without judgment. Right. I don't know, honestly, where I would be without therapy and the circle of friends that I have. And I want people to know, yes, I'm in the mental health field. I do not have it all together. Right. I go through struggles. Right. People are surprised what I may go through. This stems not only with just regular trauma, generational trauma. Absolutely. And understanding so much of why we do the things we do, why we think a certain way. I'm currently reading this book called What Happened to You by Dr. Bruce Perry and Oprah Winfrey. And wow, so much about the brain and the fact that you can understand it and reshaping those thoughts. Absolutely. And that's something my therapist does. She helps CBT. She's doing cognitive behavioral therapy and really helping to restructure those thoughts. Absolutely, which is important. And I'm glad you're bringing up, the fact that therapy is important no matter your profession, no matter, your level of education. You have normalized seeking therapy within my circle, which I need to have my butt in someone's therapy office too, even though us therapists see therapists, by the way. And so I think that it's great. It's a great message to put out. I think storytelling is important with normalizing some of the things that we experience, so that we don't feel othered in a world where we're othered. And so, I'm super glad that you're on this journey, that you're sharing it even with us, so on and so forth. Of course. Thank you. You're very welcome. One thing I say in therapy too is an awareness plus a willingness to be uncomfortable is what equals change and growth, right? And growth is continuous. So we're always
it's important to have a curiosity for what we're doing and why, and what's beneath, the emotions, and what are the thoughts that contribute to those emotions.
Right.
What are the emotions that contribute to the behaviors, and
right.
so on and so forth. So none of us human beings of the flesh are exempt from that work, right?
Right. Constantly working, constantly learning.
Right.
When you first did the podcast with Meet Jess, oh my God, did the juices started flowing. Hearing her story.
Right.
I'm all for lived experiences. Yes, we love the experts, okay? Yes, but lived experiences and what a person has been through,
right,
to where they are now.
Right.
And it's like, I understand. I'm not the only one that went through this.
Right.
I'm glad someone else. I'm not glad they experienced this, but I'm glad there's someone else out there that can understand what I went through.
Yeah, you're not alone.
No, right. And with therapy, if I was alone, what she would tell me, oh, well.
Radical acceptance.
Yes. Are you at peace?
Right.
What is going to bring you peace? But that's something I really love about her, really accepting yourself and what is important to you.
Absolutely.
Which, of course, brings me to does it align to your core values?
Which is important.
Which is very much important. When you had us do an exercise while we were here one time. And it's just amazing how those core values all aligned with each other, with everything we had to cross out.
Right.
All of those core values aligned with each other. Yeah. And I know that is what I need to focus on.
Yeah.
I have it in my journal. Yay. I keep it in my backpack for work, which is always with me.
That's awesome.
I have it on my board at work. Yeah. Does it align with my core values? Constantly remembering.
Right.
Restructuring. Yeah. I have to do a lot of restructure at work.
Absolutely. Well, and one of the last things I'll probably say too is that, your thoughts and your emotions, you don't necessarily have control over, right? The thoughts can be intrusive. We need to identify them, challenge the validity of them, right? The emotions come and they go. I always describe them as water, right? So we're to feel, sit in the discomfort long enough for them to subside in intensity and kind of flow through. But our behaviors out of the three are what's within our control. And so a lot of us are directionless, right? And so I think it's important for not only my core friend group, to know and identify their core values, but where are you aligning your behaviors?
Yes.
That's your compass. That's your guide, right? If we're out of line with that compass and guide, 9 times out of 10, it leads to an unfulfilling being in existence. So I'm so glad you took it seriously, and I'm so glad that it has been impactful.
It really has. Yeah. It really has.
So thank you. That wraps up our first topic. And so I guess, are you ready to segue into our second?
Yes, I'm ready.
Okay, so the second topic that you chose was navigating mental health during major life transitions, marriage, parenthood, divorce, etc. What's interesting about this topic, just to begin with, is that you and I have been friends through all of our major life transitions. You knew me before I was even a mom. We've been through a lot, right? Marriages, parenthood, divorces, dating. What made you choose this topic, friend?
Well, I chose this topic because I've been through all of those things. I learned a lot going through those things, a lot about myself, in which I learned from the first segment that we did.
Right.
So because of that and becoming, self-aware,
Right.
how I somehow navigated that, I have no idea. But, I tell myself, God did this on purpose.
Mm-hmm.
I had to go through these things to learn.
Right.
And when I look back on that now, in the present,
Right.
and then being in therapy, right, consistently for 2 years, all of that and everything I went through stemmed from my childhood. And I feel that's what people don't know.
Yeah.
Right? It helps you become self-aware and where things may have stemmed from.
Right.
I'm not blaming my childhood,
Right.
but because of my childhood, this happened, and I'm glad, I guess, in hindsight, that I went through those things. I really learned a lot about myself.
Right.
So that's why I chose that. I won't go into detail all of what I've been through, because that's going to take some years, right?
a lot.
I mean, and it's a lot.
Yeah, it's a lot.
Right, it's a lot. And I mean, it's dealing with marriage, divorce,
Right.
relationships, family,
Right.
right,
Right.
and having to deal with exes. I mean, yes, therapy. So I chose that, and I want people to know my story, not someone that works with adolescents in the mental health field. I want someone to know my story and all of what I've been through, and hey, there's a way.
Right.
There's a way, and this is what helped me. And I have been to hell and back. I have been in what I call my dark place, and through abuse. And it's not just physical,
Right.
it's emotional, mental, and I mean,
Yes.
that breaks you down.
People sleep on emotional abuse and the effects.
Right. And that's another thing I want to bring awareness to. It's not just physical, right? It's that and emotional and mental, and what the toll that it takes on you.
Absolutely.
So much else to deal with. So,
Absolutely.
however, I'm healing though.
Right.
I'm healing, and I want, others to know, especially women of color, especially Black women, to know you are not alone in this. There is a light at the end of the tunnel. I am a mother of 2 girls. One is 18, the other one is 12. So navigating all of that and recognizing my own trauma, and yes, what I have brought to them,
Right.
but I'm slowly changing that,
Right.
Because I do not need to pass that down to them.
Right. Absolutely.
So I got to fix myself.
Absolutely.
And
Yeah.
I am fixing myself.
Love that. Yeah, a couple of the things, or I guess where my mind went when I was just hearing you talk right now, it involves radical acceptance. One of my favorite quotes as it relates to radical acceptance is, "The path out of hell is through misery. By refusing to accept the misery that is part of climbing out of hell, you fall back into hell," right? So it is a knockout, drag out fight, right? To get to that place of radical acceptance. And it doesn't mean you have to like, love, or agree, right? It just means in that tug of war, rather than getting your hands bloodied and bruised against a beast that is already there that you can't win against,
right,
dropping the rope,
yes,
right? And getting to know and understand that beast,
yes,
and how it has affected you. So I love that, it sounds like you've leaned into radical acceptance. I think also us being mental health professionals, I know for myself, as well as some of our conversations that we've had,
Yes.
it is so hard to recognize emotional abuse, even as mental health professionals, right? So I'm glad that you want to speak about that. I think a lot of that gets swept under the rug because it's not physical. When it comes to physical abuse, you have bruises, cuts, you know for a fact that you've been abused, right? But when it comes to emotional abuse, it can be very difficult to recognize when you're in it.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And you're masking it. And some people, even with the bruises, with the physical, they will try to
That's true too.
and offering you excuses. And I should have.
Right.
And that right there just beats you down, and you feel like you have nowhere to go. I mean, you're being threatened, and that right there helped me to understand women that are in situations where they feel like they cannot leave.
Yes.
I used to be, just get your stuff and leave.
Right.
No,
not
have
that easy.
family. I mean, very judgmental, right? And until you are in that situation, it humbles you.
It does.
And I'm like, I get it.
Absolutely.
I get it. And you're in it for years. So just imagine years of that constant beat down. It's like, God, when are things going to get better?
Right.
I had gotten back into the Bible. No, I shouldn't say back into. I had gotten into the Bible, and I would read, different scriptures and stuff like that, and made it a point to, and things were going well in my life. Even if there was a downside, I took it.
Right.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, it's a loss. Let me keep going. That's going to happen.
Right.
But there was something else that was just keeping me down. What else is there? There was a person. And it was like, you need to let this one go. This is the one that is keeping you down and not furthering yourself in any area. And anyway, once I recognized that, let that person go, and it's been good. Yeah, still some downs, right?
Absolutely.
But I definitely get over them, better because of therapy.
Right.
And I realized once I got out of that place, that dark hole and that cloud that was literally hanging over me, once I got out of that dark place, I was like, okay, man, I could have left this long time ago, but I went through it.
Right.
Definitely a stronger, person. But once I got out of that, I mean, things were great.
Yeah.
It's like, wow, I'm tough. I made it out of that situation.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah.
And what I went through.
Yes.
The screenshots.
Yes.
Right? The proof.
Yes.
That it's not me.
Yes.
And so that was very, very, very scary.
Yeah. No, avoidance just prolongs pain. And one thing I like that you mentioned as well is when it comes to our experiences, as long as we are living, breathing beings, we're going to experience emotional pain, right? And so I think it's important as parents for us to own how our experiences through these same life transitions can affect our children. And one thing I say to a lot of clients is expect your children to come to you and say, this was hurtful, that was hurtful. I'm a whole therapist, and I know my kids will say the same for me, right? And it costs us nothing to just own it, because there's no perfect parent. You can't close every hole. We can't close every hole for ourselves, right? And so just owning it and validating it so that their little nervous systems can settle, feeling heard and validated and understood, so that they can heal. The name of the game, I guess, is just trying to, hold some of the pain that we've experienced on our shoulders and allow and hope that some of it doesn't trickle down,
My 12-year-old literally a couple of days ago just sent me a text message basically expressing her feelings and how she would appreciate such and such. Now, at first, it's like, let me tell you something. But I literally had to take a step back.
Absolutely.
Like, okay, Kim, read it again.
Right.
And I thought about it. It didn't take me as long because I probably would have slept on it. It was like, I need to respond.
Right.
But I said, okay, I will respect that.
Right.
And she gave me a thank you.
Right.
And I left it. I think I might have hugged it or loved it, you know.
Right.
I was like, okay.
Right. Yes.
And I'm giving my children, I'm allowing them to express themselves.
Important.
We could not do that.
Yes.
Back in the day, back in my
culturally.
Day. Oh,
it
definitely.
Was a no.
Oh no, because I said so. I am allowing them to ask questions.
Right.
I'm allowing them to express themselves.
Right.
Still in a respectful way because you know they can still get little girl. You know, they know what that means. But yeah, so I'm allowing them to express themselves because I couldn't do that.
Right.
You know, and I kind of know what that can do.
Absolutely. Exactly. So again, every generation is going to have their own life transitions.
Right.
But again, I appreciate you picking that topic, both topics.
Yes.
Thank you so much for joining us, friend.
Yes, thank you for having me. I really appreciate it. I really appreciate it.
Now, what's next on the horizon for you professionally? Let everyone know.
Yes, so actually, because I'm a big fan of mental health and lived experiences, I would actually like to get into speaking engagements where I speak on my personal mental health journey in a little bit more detail than what I did here. You know, and I want other people to hear my story so that may help them to, okay, maybe I should get into mental health, or hey, you know what? She made it out of this.
Right.
Took her this long, but she made it out of this. So I really want to bring awareness to mental health because it's such a stigma, right? And I'm so over it. People of color, women of color, Black women, it is okay to seek therapy.
Please.
I want to put my mental health journey out there. I'm not embarrassed by it. So I want people to know that, you know, there is someone out there that understands what they're going through. So that is what I'm hoping to do, to engage in more speaking engagements. And, you know, if you are interested in me and my story, you may contact Jamie. She has my contact information.
I do. Awesome. Again, thank you so much. And if you guys want more of Kim, let me know. Thank you, friend. That concludes Beautiful Minds podcast. Thank you for joining us.